It's your boy Wise. Back, back like I never left, man. Here we go. Ready to kick off this 2024 season. We're gonna do this Miami versus Florida preview. Also in the video, we'll cover a couple of key things about the Canes that I feel like nobody is really talking about. But without further ado, man, let's just get into it. So, first thing I want to say is I see a lot of the beat writers for Miami and Florida rightfully so. They gassing up UF to try to make them seem like they're a good team and all of that. But I don't want to hear none of that shit. Straight up. I don't want to hear none of that shit. We'll get into the prediction and all of that, but I don't expect this to be a close game. I know about the playing in the swamp and 93,000. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. None of that shit matters. So, what we're going to focus on is actual production of what people have done in college. We're not going to talk about nothing, with high school players or nothing like that. And um, that's just really, what it comes down to, like talking facts, not opinions, not what we think we seen. Like, what have these kids put on film in college? And we're going to compare those things since the teams are a little different. So, so obviously we on the road, whatever. So you start out, you looking at quarterback, right? I've seen some Gator fans talking about Mertz and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest about Graham Mertz, right? This is honesty and facts. So, um, Mertz last year threw for like what, 2,900 yards, 20 TDs, three picks. Okay. I think he completed like 73% of his passes. I think what gets lost in that and where, fans try to gas stuff up and beat writers and stuff like that. There was a stat that was given earlier today by 247 Gators guy, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm just gonna put this out there. He said that Mertz threw the ball 30 times last year. That was further than 20 yards. Like he attempted 30 passes, and I don't know if this stat is accurate, but he said he attempted 30 passes over 20 yards. He completed 16 of them. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is because if you watch his highlights, if you watch Parasol's highlights, he's obviously gone. If you watch Eugene Wilson's highlights, they're not pushing the ball down the field at all. And obviously, everybody knows this, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think what Graham Mertz has done to a certain extent is deceitful, as far as like his production. So when he was at Wisconsin, because everybody just seems to ignore this, but Florida fans be trying to bring up Cam Ward turnovers. When Mertz was at Wisconsin, he was a fucking turnover machine. Okay. He threw 26 interceptions in 3 years. One of those years, he only played in like 7 games. So both years where he played 10 games or more, he threw double digit interceptions both years, and he completed like 57% of his passes. When he got to UF, they said, okay, we know you're not good at throwing a ball downfield. The arm talent isn't there. You don't make the greatest decisions when going downfield. So we're gonna keep everything 15 yards and below for the most part. We may take 2 or 3 shots a game, but other than that, it's gonna be dink and dunk and stuff like that. So that's where you see a drastic increase in completion percentage. When that many passes are either at the line of scrimmage or within 5 yards, you should be having a high completion percentage. That's just what it should be. With that being said, one of the things that he does do really well, I think he's great at it. I would even more so say he's elite at hitting his guys in stride. So even though they're doing some of the dink and dunk stuff, if go watch some of Ricky Parasol's highlights, he has a 5 or 7 yard throw where he's been hitting stride that allows him to run 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. Same thing with Eugene Wilson. So I would say that his ability to hit guys in stride is really good. And then his ball placement on a lot of those throws are pretty good because not even pretty good, great, because the ball placement has to be good in order to let them be able to make plays after the fact. Also, when he's on the move and he's rolling out, if he sees something underneath, he's really good about still being able to connect with that guy and keep it clean. So those are the things that he does well. He's a great um, game manager. He's not going to go out there and win you games per se with key plays or big shots. Most of the chunk plays they get come from, receivers or running back, having good yak and stuff like that. But from what he's shown this last year, he's also not going to lose you any games in a sense of he won't go out there and make a bunch of mistakes as far as with, throwing the ball and stuff like that. Um, Obviously, their O line is the right side of the O line. There's no secret with that, right? They're gonna give up plays and they're gonna be getting knocked back on their ass all day on Saturday. Um, they're gonna try a lot of quick hitters. Just being real, that's what they're gonna do. The idea they're gonna try to get the ball out of his hands quick because they're trying to negate the pass rush. So if the game starts out and you guys see stuff like that, I wouldn't really get frustrated because as the game wears on, like things will change. Even with the first drive for both teams is gonna be scripted. So if they come out there, move the ball, and have some success, it's no different than some of the shit you saw at Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Like it is what it is. See what they do the next time they get the ball. And that being said, like I don't even know if Terrell Johnson is going to play. They listed him as the starter, so Napier said he's a full go. Um, if he's not 100% healthy, it's just me personally, I wouldn't risk the kid playing. I mean, they're gonna lose the game anyway. So to play him and potentially maybe get him hurt a little further, it's a little crazy to me, but that's up to them. Whether if he plays or not, they're losing. Um, that's just what it is. So we move on to receiver. There's been a lot of talk about Eugene Wilson, just being real. So this is his first chance to be a number one receiver. Based upon what he did last year, I do think the kid is talented. I think he has a lot of talent. However, we're talking about numbers. And I seen one of the Florida beat writers say he gave the nod to their wide receivers. Like, let's be fucking for real. Eugene Wilson had 500 receiving yards last year, 61 catches. The man averaged 8.8 yards per catch. I have never, in the history of, I've been watching college football over 20 years. They claim this kid is supposed to be good or great. I'm not denying that he can't be that this year or eventually. But what we've seen, um, a lot of pop passes, a lot of screens, a lot of slants. If you go look at his highlight film, that's the majority of where he's getting the ball at. I'm not saying those are the only routes he can run. I'm not saying that, but that's where his production came from. I have never seen a receiver that's deemed to be good or great have 8.8 yards per catch. That is fucking trash. And I'm not calling him trash, but I'm pointing out the fact of you can't say a receiver is doing this or doing that when the production doesn't match up. He could have 1,500 yards this year. Who knows? But 8.8 yards per catch for a wide receiver that is fast because he has speed, that's fucking trash. Bro, tight ends you would expect to have 8 or 9 or 10 yards a catch, not a wide receiver, especially not in college. Like, bro, if you doing anything under 10 yards in college, like you're not producing enough big plays. You're not doing enough with the ball. But it's part of the reason why is because He getting pop passes, this shit at the line of scrimmage, all of that. So it kind of takes away from that. So we'll see what he has. But bro, Miami got three wide receivers that had 800 yards last season, 800 yards or more. One of them was a 1,000 yard receiver. So the fact that nobody on Florida's offense, I don't think has ever even had 800 yards in a season, and we had three. I don't even know where the fuck they beat Ryder would even be like, oh, I give the nod to Florida. This is what I mean when I say they're just saying dumb shit just to say it. That's fucking stupid. The only place on offense, I guess, that Florida would get a nod over Miami is tight end. And we're talking about based upon production. I didn't even go check the stats on that one, but Arroyo hasn't done much in his college career. Riley Williams has a little bit of yards, and I watched pretty much all of the film on Florida from last year, and I saw people like Hansing and Bordenham making plays and stuff. So I will give them the clear nod at tight end based off of what we've seen, not who I think Arroyo may or may not be or whatever. But come on, Cam Ward is way better than Graham. Let's be real. He's way better than Graham. Damien Martinez is one of the best running backs in the country. Johnson not fucking with him. They definitely don't get the nod at wide receiver because Jacoby George had 850 and 9 TDs. Restrepo had 1,000 yards. Sam Brown had over 800 yards. We're only talking about production that we have seen. Nobody on UF's roster can fuck with that. So if they want to say, oh, we have speed and stuff, they do have some guys that have some speed. But as far as the actual production we've seen, their wide receivers not fucking with ours. That's just facts. The O line, we're not going to even get into it. We know Miami has a better O line than Florida. The D line, let's be for real. We actually have a full two deep and then some. They don't even have a full grasp on who their starters clearly are at a couple of those positions. Because I know, like 21 is listed as a starter. That motherfucker gonna be good for 6 plays. After them first 6 plays, if we get two first downs and we done ran 6 plays, we gonna go up tempo and keep his fat ass on the field. Because at that point, he's just gonna be a non-factor because we not gonna even get him a chance to let them sub his fat ass out the game. So it is what it is. I don't really expect too much from the D line in general. So I mean, clear win on Miami. I mean, it's not even a question. The linebacker play, I guess you could call it even because they have their key guy at linebacker. Miami has Kiko, and we don't know what we're getting with Wesley. So they have Shamar. We don't know what we're getting with Wesley for real. Wesley got ran the fuck over in the scrimmage by Damien Martinez. And just in general, I was heard both scrimmages. Wesley looked like a different player from practice than he did in the scrimmage. So until Wesley show us what he's about, he can't be relied upon. So if we get in the swamp and Wesley on that bullshit, I guarantee you, Jaden Alderman will be in the fucking game. He will be coming downhill to hit some shit. If we talking about the back end or the secondary, we're talking about what's proven. Jason Marshall is up and down, if we being real. Sometimes he plays pretty good. Sometimes he's quitting on plays. Sometimes he plays like shit. I'm just being honest. Um, The other cornerback, he's a new kid. He ain't really played that much more. He don't really have a lot of reps. The guy that they got from Washington, is it Asa Turner, I believe? I mean, he's played a lot of games, but they also ended up overall, I think they got three, five, fifth or 6 year seniors that they brought in for DBs, but only one of them starting. So that should kind of tell you where that shit is playing and falling. The other safety, he started last year. I think he was a true freshman for them. He should be pretty good, or he should be better. He was getting heated in the highlight film and shit. So when you talk about the DBs, Daryl Porter was good all last year. We know what we're getting in Mish Powell. We don't know what we have in Jaden Harris, and then we don't know like what the other cornerback looks like for sure, who's starting. So if you want to call that a stalemate or a wash, then I would be fine with that. Even if you want to call special teams a wash as far as kicking and punting, cool. I said all of that to say I don't expect this shit to be close. Um, I know everybody's saying, it's gonna be close. I don't expect it to be close, is my personal opinion. I think we're gonna dominate them at the line of scrimmage, and that's gonna be that. Um, I got Damien Martinez going for at least 150 yards. But if you want to frame this up perfectly for me, it's going to be like when Willis went for 200. I think they was in the swamp against UF. So I like Miami by two touchdowns, not just two scores, but I think Miami wins the game by at least 14. It'll probably be close early on, but I just don't think that the talent that they have is there. Even when, like, if you're talking about specific stuff again, like we had one of the best O lines in the country last year. We lost two starters. We replaced one with a good center. He might not be great, but he's good. Either way, we're going to have another top 15 O line, worst case. D line wise, we saw what Ruben Bain did last year. We seen what Mesidor has done when healthy. You can go watch Tyler Barron's film. You can go watch Austin's film. You can go watch Simeon Barrow's film. You can go watch CJ Clark's film. We ain't making nothing up. If you go watch those guys on Florida's D line film compared to Miami, we're talking about what folks did in college and actual production. They are ass. They are not good. So who our O line is going up against in practice, D line wise, the best D line they're gonna see the entire year, besides maybe potentially who we face if Miami handles business and make it to the college football playoff. Other than that, there's no D line that they're gonna see better. Same thing on the flip side, who our D line is going up against. We won't play another top 15 offensive line or top 10. We're going up against our best competition based upon what's on our schedule from what we've already seen. And that's the difference. When we step out on that field, when Ruben Bain and Mesidor and Simeon Barrow are in the game together, and you have CJ Clark, whoever else you want to throw in there, when they're going up against Florida's O line, those are going to be the best defensive linemen that they have played against this year because they're better than anything on Florida's roster. Cole would start over there at UF right now. And that's just what it is. That's facts. Damien Martinez is way better than any running back on UF's roster. Our linebackers have seen better O-line play, better running back play, better quarterback play. Wide receiver doesn't compare. The only nod they get on offense is tight end. We smacking that shit on Saturday. If you don't have confidence that we smacking that shit, I don't really give a fuck. If Miami don't win by two scores, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I like it is really just that simple. Like it is what it is. I got the game 41-17, Miami. We're running for at least 250 yards is what my expectation is. I feel like we're gonna be run heavy. I do think we'll throw the ball as well, but I think we coming out to make a statement and we coming in there to smack shit and lay it down, man. It is what it is. Like all of this make believe shit that folks is doing in the in between. Maybe they just wanted to sound better, but you saw how Florida State beat Ryder Soul lies to they folks the whole time. Like the fact that they even doing shit like saying the receivers is better and Mertz is this and that. I mean, Mertz is cool. I'm not taking nothing away from him. Like if you want somebody to take care of the ball and, make some good clean throws, hit people in stride, he's your guy. If you need to push that ball down the field, that is not something that he's capable of doing without having a high percentage of throwing an interception. And then on top of that, even if they wanted to push the ball down the field, they won't consistently have time to. They may be able to take a couple of shots here and there, but our pass rush is nothing to play with. And y'all know Gidry gonna be blitzing. Even if the front four can get there, Gidry gonna send the blitz, make it do what it do, and we gonna be on Mert's ass all day if they don't get the ball out fast. If they don't get that ball out real fast, we on Mert's ass. He gonna be on his back a lot. He is gonna be on his back a lot. And even when it comes to their secondary, like, and they can say the same about our secondary. I just think our D line is good enough to cover up the deficiencies, but we gonna see what they made of. We going up top on their ass. I seen Jason Marshall quit on multiple plays. Like, motherfucker quit running. Like, that shit not gonna cut it. Go in there, be physical, take the wheel out these boys, beat they fucking ass, get up out of there healthy, and let's ride out for the rest of the season. No matter what happens on Saturday, we're talking about what's factual and what's on paper. On paper, Miami should win the game. Miami has a much better team than Florida in every which way you want to look at it, outside of tight end and maybe DB if you want to call it even. Other than that, there are no advantages that they have. And obviously, you have to go play the game. What y'all not realizing is if Mario didn't think we had a winner, a chance to win the Natty, he wouldn't be letting these motherfuckers record Kane's camp. Like all of this shit. They got that U uncut shit that they were supposed to drop. They got hella footage and stuff they've been recording. If they weren't all in on this season, they would not be doing this. They wouldn't be recording all of this shit. They believe that internally that they dealing with a winner. That's why we're all in. And y'all gotta pay attention to how this shit set up, man. It's this year, if they don't take advantage of what they have, the schedule, the talent, all of that, it fucks a lot up. More than half the starters gonna be gone next year. Like, ain't nobody really paying attention about like how much is on the line for this season. The schedule lines up well, and if we stay healthy, you gotta do it this year. Cam Ward is gone next year. Damien Martinez, folks said he was planning on one and done. Like he's not trying to stay here next year. He's planning on going to the league. Xavier Restrepo is gone. Um, Jacoby George is gonna be gone. Sam Brown is trying to go to the league. If we have the type of year we supposed to have, Arnaz Cooper, they saying he going to the NFL. Jalen Rivers is going to the league. Mesidor is going to the league. CJ Clark is going to the league. Simeon Barrow is going to the league. Austin is going to the league. Barron is going to the league. Kiko is going to the league. Porter is going to the league. Powell is going to the league. That is the majority of the team, or the majority of the starters will be gone. The majority of all of your production on offense pretty much is going to be gone outside of tight end and whatever. I expect Horton to do well, but that's going to be gone. Like, you have to capitalize on this year. They went all in. They grabbed extra shit out the portal. They spent more money. They recruited well, but you are all in. Everything is on the fucking line, and you got to come out and make the statement week one. And I feel like you make the statement big enough, they just gonna discount Florida. Oh, they beat Florida. Even if we manhandle them boys, they gonna be like, oh, that shit was too easy. They ain't gonna be that good. And they could win a solid amount of games, even though they have a really tough schedule. But pay attention, man. Just pay attention to the shit. Like, we all in for real. Like, we all in with this shit. Just try to enjoy the ride, man, because it's going to be a lot of holes after this year that you don't necessarily know if you had an opportunity to fill them up. And that's part of the reason why I think they went ahead and just went all in. So, man, just enjoy the ride, man. I'm gonna give a couple of further predictions slash hot takes for the season, but Cam Ward throwing for 4,000 probably should hit the 40 touchdown mark. He's definitely gonna break the yardage, the single season yardage, and the touchdown single season record for sure. That's not even a question. Um, I like Martinez to end up with. I seen somebody say 1,200. I'm going 1,500. Damien Martinez going 1,500 yards. I think we have going 2,000-yard receivers. Another one with 700. Another one with like five. Smooth 500 for Arroyo. Um, I think folks disrespected Jacoby George like he didn't make hella plays last year. You know, if Tyler Van Dyke wouldn't have been his quarterback, the boy would have had even more yards. But, you know, ain't nobody talking about him. Stay sleeping on him, I guess. Um, and I think Miami should end up with about 10 tackles for loss per game and 4 to 5 sacks. I think that is going to be a major key for us being able to win games. But the games that we supposed to win, we got to start blowing these folks the fuck out. How we was doing from before, years and years and years ago, 20 years ago, basically. Because that's how you get some of these young guys meaningful reps and able to bring them further along. You can't stay in these fucking dog fights with these weak teams. But I don't expect that this year at all. So even in regards to the Florida game, by late third quarter, I expect that shit to be over with. I don't know if Cam Ward gonna play in the fourth, and if he do, I don't expect him to really throw too many passes. If he's still even in, like, just go in there, do what you gotta do, kill they will, get about the swamp, silence all them motherfuckers, have them looking stupid, and just get back home healthy. Get ready for the next week. It is what it is, man.